So like I was saying, creating designs with a smartphone back then, I said it was basically for beginners because it is a good way for them to start to practice graphic design and master the craft. So if they later get the opportunity to have access to computers and everything, they would have understood design to the level whereby they can then um, take good advantage of the tools available to them at that period. I also went on to say that they should not stay just being a smartphone designer, right? They should not stay just being a smartphone designer. I also said that a we so-called PC designers also, I said it that we should also find one or two of these softwares, one or two of these mobile applications. We should learn them because these softwares are software that allow you create designs with ease, fast with ease, right? Simple designs with ease. Another thing I want to talk about is, aside from having the conversation of smartphone designers and PC designers, I've also seen people talk about CorelDRAW designers and Photoshop designers. That is a different level of conversation on its own. Gideon, can you relate to that?
Yes, I can.
Exactly, right? Because for a very long time, you will see people tell you, yeah, what's it called? CorelDRAW is the best. Photoshop is the best. If you are not using Photoshop, then you are not using the industry standard software. If you are not using CorelDRAW, no. To me, I feel like whenever I see people having those conversations, I just ease and leave. Because let me share a little bit of my story. I started graphic design in the year 2013, where I studied print technology. And I learned graphic design first with CorelDRAW. I believe many people back then who learned graphic design, majority of those of us who learned graphic design back then, we started learning graphic design with CorelDRAW. Unlike today, that you can start learning graphic design with your smartphone and all these different applications. Back then, if you don't have a laptop or you don't have access to a computer, you cannot learn graphic design, right? And the popular one back then was CorelDRAW. So because of the fact that I learned CorelDRAW first, I was then I can then see people talk about Photoshop and everything. I see people talking about Photoshop all over the place. But because I did not have access to Photoshop, I did not have the opportunity to even know what Photoshop is all about, right? I felt like Photoshop is for pictures, right? It's to edit photos. And then I was like, what are these people? Why are they so crazy about Photoshop? Right? To me, because all I knew was CorelDRAW, I felt like yes, that was the end. CorelDRAW is the best design software, right? So I would say I would tell people I would let them know that I don't give a fuck about their Photoshop or anything, right? I was like, forget about it. CorelDRAW is the best. But later on, I went ahead to pay attention to Photoshop. I learned Photoshop. I understood Photoshop. Then I fell in love with I fell in love with Photoshop, right? I fell in love. I really did fall in love with Photoshop. Up until today, I am so very much in love with Photoshop, right? But what that taught me is that the reason why I was criticizing Photoshop was because I did not have access to Photoshop, right? I did not have the
Exactly.
opportunity to learn Photoshop, right? That was why I was
Exactly.
criticizing Photoshop, right? Because today I use Photoshop more than any design software at all, right? Today, currently as we speak, I use Photoshop more than any design software at all. And when I now see people having this conversation that, hey, Corel Draw is better than Photoshop, I feel like that is not a conversation that we're supposed to be having. Because even today, I still don't use just I still don't use just Photoshop to create designs. It's really not about the software. Because today, I don't just use Photoshop. I also use Canva at times to create design. Now, let me talk about what makes you a graphic designer in the first place. Right? What makes you a graphic designer is not the software you use, right? It is actually your ability to solve a problem with design. That is what makes you a graphic designer. So your ability to understand a problem, come up with a solution, to communicate an idea in the most effective ways possible. That is what being a graphic designer is all about. It's not about the software you use. Now, think of you, a graphic designer, as a doctor, right? A doctor needs to first of all understand what is wrong with a patient before they decide what they need to do. If they need to take a test, or do they need to prescribe a drug for that patient. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people just feel like being a graphic designer is just about operating Photoshop or operating Corel Draw. And that's not where it ends. That's not even where it starts, right? It starts with you, first of all, understanding the problem that you want to solve with that design. You see, when you understand who you are trying to communicate to, because for you to solve a problem, you need to first of all find out, who am I trying to communicate to, right? Who am I trying to communicate? Who is the target audience for this design? What is this design supposed to do? Where is the design supposed to live? Where is it going to be used? Is it going to be on social media? Is it going to be a printed design? Right? You first of all understand that, because the way you create a design that will be used on social media is different from the way you create a design that will get to be printed, right? And that is just the fact. So now, once you understand that the design you want to create, let's say for instance, it is for social media, you will then decide, okay, what software can I use to achieve this particular design that I want to create, right? Okay, if the design you want to create for that particular purpose, depending on what you want to do, if it requires that you use Photoshop, use Photoshop. If it is a design you can create in Canva, create that design in Canva. This is the same technique that you get to decide what colors should you use, what typography should you use, what kind of imagery should you use. So at the core, what makes you a graphic designer is not the tool, it is your skill. So as a matter of fact, there are people who create designs in Canva which their design makes more sense than what some other people create in Photoshop. So it's not always about the software. It's not always about the tool. It's also about your skill as a designer. For me, when I create a design that I can create in Canva, I don't create it in Photoshop. And mind you, Canva has desktop version, and it also has what's it called, mobile application as well. A design that I can create in Canva, I don't create it in Photoshop. Why? Because when I create a design in Photoshop, it does not allow me to make changes to it at any time, at any point in time, or wherever or whenever I wish to. I can find myself in a particular location where I cannot access my computer at that point in time, right? So if I created a design in Photoshop and I need to make changes to it, I can't do it until I get access to my computer. But Canva, on the other hand, I can quickly head on to my Canva app and make the changes I need to make to my design, right? So what makes you a graphic designer is not the tools. What makes you a graphic designer is not the software. Similarly, the same way I don't create a Photoshop design in Canva. I don't create a Canva design in Photoshop. I don't create a Photoshop design in Canva. The kind of designs I create in Photoshop are the kind of designs that requires that has complexity. Designs that requires photo manipulation, designs that require lighting, designs that require color grading, designs that require blending options, right? All these different high-end functionalities, those are the designs I create in Photoshop. And all of that is determined by the problem I want to solve at that particular time, right? So if the design I need to create requires me to use Photoshop, I will use Photoshop for it. Now, this is another thing. For a very long time, I don't really use CorelDRAW. I mean, ultimately, I use Photoshop. But once in a while, I still use CorelDRAW. When do I use CorelDRAW? I use CorelDRAW when I need to create large format designs. If you are someone here, is there anybody here that knows that operates Photoshop? Please, if there's anybody here that operates Photoshop, just signify, please let me know. Hello? Alright, I'll be moving on.
I actually use CorelDRAW, not Photoshop.
Okay, you use CorelDRAW. Very well, very well. That's great. You use CorelDRAW. So what I'm saying is, when you're using CorelDRAW to create designs, right, compared to Photoshop, CorelDRAW, the end result of your file is always low. The amount of space it takes on your computer, on your hard disk is lower compared to that of Photoshop. However, personally, I appreciate the output of Photoshop more than that of CorelDRAW. But when I need to create a large format design, like let's say 10 feet, 20 feet, 15 feet design, Photoshop can mess things up for you, especially if you don't have a very strong capacity computer, right? So what do I do then is I use CorelDRAW. I don't use Photoshop to create large format designs. If I need anything that CorelDRAW cannot provide for me, I will quickly head on to Photoshop and just quickly do that thing, create that particular thing, and then export it as PNG and then bring it to CorelDRAW. Why am I explaining all of these things to you? It's for you to know that it's not about the software. So what I'm focusing on is not the software at that moment. What my focus is about is the problem I want to solve, right? I know that Photoshop cannot solve that particular problem for me at that point in time. So what can I do? I need to find a way to solve the problem. That is what makes me a graphic designer. Not that software, not Photoshop, not CorelDRAW, not Canva. The problem I solve with it is what makes me a graphic designer, right? So if you are creating a design for social media, simple designs, why not use Canva for it? Why tell people not to use Photoshop? I don't understand why they are saying those things. To me, I feel like they're just trying to intimidate people. They want to lower the entry bar, or what do they say? Because the invention of Canva has given a lot of people the opportunity to create designs. I know that people would abuse these things. It is bound to happen. People abuse Photoshop too, right? There are people create awkward designs using Photoshop, using CorelDRAW. It's not as if people started creating bad designs when they created Canva or all those other mobile applications, right? There are lots of them. There are Pixel Lab. There are this thing. To me, creating a problem-solving design is beyond that, right? When people talk about Photoshop and CorelDRAW, I call them software operators, right? They are not designers to me. To me, they are software operators. They are not graphic designers. because a graphic designer spends time understanding a problem, comes up with a solution to communicate an idea in the most effective way possible, right? So if CorelDRAW is not going to effectively deliver that project for me, I will use Photoshop. And now I said effect in the most effective ways possible. So let us even move away from the software angle now, right? Which is also understanding the basic principles of design, right? So even if you are creating design with Photoshop and you don't understand the principles of graphic design, you don't understand how to use contrast, you don't understand the principles of hierarchy, you don't understand the principles of emphasis, you don't understand the principles of white space and all those other principles, you are going to create an awkward design. There is no escape routes around that, because those are the basic fundamentals of graphic design. So you cannot tell me you are a graphic designer and you don't know all of that and all you know is Photoshop, right? So if you know that, that is the first thing you need to know first as a graphic designer, and then you will now learn how to use design to solve a problem. There is a lot of things that is embedded into this thing called graphic design, right? So now I've talked about the software, I've talked about the fundamentals of graphic design. The ultimate thing actually that makes you a graphic design is your strategic thinking skills, right? Your critical thinking skill, strategic creative thinking skill, right? Your ability to use design to achieve a tangible result. So after you have created that design, what has that design yielded, right? So the design you create, are you doing it to help people take a particular action? Is it for them to click a link, right? Are you assured that your design will convert prospects to lead, right? It will convert audience to lead, right? Will you drive your viewer to take action, right? Do you understand the kind of emotion that this design needs to convey in order for you to achieve that particular result, right? That is what being a graphic designer is all about. It's not about software. And I mean, it is seeking, for me, every time when I see people talk about these things and they say that some softwares are the industry standard software. To me, the industry standard software is the software that you need to achieve a particular result, right? So if Canva, and I hope my art is not obstructing anything. If Canva is the design, is the software you need to achieve the results you want, please use Canva. So if you then realize that what you want to do is beyond Canva, then you have to find a way to do it. Either you use Photoshop or you use CorelDRAW. To me, I mean, I also hire designers to work with me on projects. And personally for me, I like to work with designers who know how to operate Photoshop, right? I like to work with designers who know how to operate Photoshop. But even at that, I do not just stick to that, right? I do not make it a deal breaker, right? A lot of people that has worked with me today, they can testify to you. Many of them, especially recently, many of them are CorelDRAW users, right? And the truth is, it did not stop me from working with them, right? Because they were able to deliver what I want them to deliver, what they need to deliver in order for us to achieve the result we want to achieve. They were able to deliver regardless of the software they were using, right? And that's just it. Even though I love Photoshop, I love all the Adobe software, including Illustrator, including InDesign, all the Adobe software, Adobe Premiere Pro, everything. I love them, right? But I would not say that they are the industry standard software. No, because they cannot do everything, right? They can't do everything. That's just it. So depending on what I need to do, I will then make decision on which software should I use to achieve that can help me achieve this result, because they are just tools. And there is a saying that says a good design it is 90% of the tools and 80% of your skill as the designer, right? It is 90% of 20% of the tool and 80% of your skill as a designer. So I believe that with these little points, I believe I've been able to help you understand that being a graphic designer is not about knowing how to operate a design software. It is about knowing using your power as a graphic designer to solve a problem, right? See, like I said, there is a lot of things embedded in being a graphic designer, right? You need to also understand copywriting, right? If you understand copywriting, you will know the kind of words, the kind of copy, the kind of captions, the kind of text that you can put on your design, right? That can help your clients achieve a result, right? The reason why designers complain about clients not paying them well and all is because they see you as just a designer. They don't see you as a problem solver, right? If you, let's say for instance, I've had a client come from someone, a designer, that charged them 5,000 naira for a logo design project. This client did not work with that designer. This same client came to me. I mean, they said 5,000 naira was too much for logo design, but guess how much I charged this client for my own services when they came to me. Gideon, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Exactly.
I'm here.
This client end up paying me 50,000 naira.
Uh-uh.
Yes, the same clients that refused to pay someone else 5,000 naira, these same clients end up paying me 50,000 naira. Why? Because I don't sell logos, I sell solution, right? To me, I believe that when you come to me that you want to create a design, the design that is just something that is just on the surface, right? Design is just on the surface. So it's not as if the design is the actual problem. The design is meant to help you solve a particular problem. And if we don't understand the problem, we cannot solve the problem. Right? If we don't understand the problem, we cannot solve the problem. So what do I do is I ask a lot of questions. I ask questions to understand where they are and where they want to go, why they want to create the design, who they want to create the design for, what is the design supposed to do for them, right? So when I understood that, I can then tell them, oh, see, what you need is not just a logo. You need a brand identity design. You need this, and that. Do you have a mission statement? Do you have a vision statement? Do you have this? Do you have that? What is your brand value proposition? What is your this and that? Right? And they were amazed. And she said something. She said, you look like someone who knows what he's doing. Right? That was what she said. This client is a female. She said, you look like someone who knows what he is doing. And I ended up sealing that deal for 50K. The same clients that refused to pay someone else 5K. Guys, I charged that client 50K. Why?
Wow.
Because I was going to solve a bigger problem beyond creating logo. Because logo is just a mark, even though it is an important thing. But if I only create logo for her, the logo is not going to be functional if other things are not in place, right? If you do not have a good brand value proposition, if you do not have a good mission statement, if you do not have if they don't have consistent communication across all touch points, the logo is going to be useless, right? So it is bound for them to do all those other things, and those are the things I charge them for. The results, the end results, not the logo. And that is the thing. That is what being a graphic designer is. Being able to understand the problem, the real problem, looking at things from a broader perspective. Because your clients are not seeing what you are seeing. They cannot see what you are seeing. People who are in business, right, they cannot see everything. That's just it. The truth is, a lot of people who own business, they think they know everything about their business, but they don't know everything, right? So they need someone who has the experience, the expertise to help them understand more, to help them learn more about their business, right? And that is where it is that center that your role is as a designer. That is where you should, that is, to me, I believe that is where every designer should aim to be, right? Using a software, using a this thing, all of that are, they are, Chris Dale usually says something. He says design is subjective, right? Design is subjective. So the same design that you create that you think is beautiful, someone else might say and say, this, what's all this nonsense? What is this? Design is subjective, right? But the result that you achieve with it, that is the real thing, right? What you achieve with it. So it must have a goal and objective. If as a designer you're not working with goals and objective in mind, then you're not a designer. A designer is also like an architect. Remember how we have all these beautiful buildings and everything, but majority of us, we don't think of how how it started, right? They don't just start building houses without having a plan for it, right? And for someone, for an architect to come up with a plan for someone that wants to build a house, it means the architect have already understood what that person wants to use the house, what's it called, a building, the building for. So a building can be an event hall. A building can be a house that people are going to live in, right? A building can just be an office, right? So an architect needs to first of all understand that, and then understand, oh, okay, it is a house that they want to live in. Okay, how many bedroom is going to be there, right? How many toilets? How many, how do you want the, what's it called, the compound to look like? How do you want this and that? And then this person will go and draw out the plan, right? So if they draw the plan, if the plan is not perfect, they will make adjustments. They will go back and still draw another plan again until they get the perfect plan, and then they will now start laying foundation. They will not even go straight to the building process. They will start laying foundation, right? After laying foundation is when they will now start building. You see, which means as a designer, you want to first of all understand the problem you want to solve. Once you understand the problem you want to solve, then you will now start laying the foundation. The foundation is identifying the principles, the basic principles, the fundamental principles of design that you need, right? That will help you communicate that idea effectively, right? So that is the foundation. That is when you now start connecting the dots, knowing, oh, which image should I use, which typography, which color, and everything. And that is it. That is how you create a problem-solving design. And if you can create a problem-solving design, then you have earned yourself the right to call yourself a graphic designer. So it is until you are able to use design to solve a problem, you can call yourself a graphic designer. Other than that, you are just a graphic artist. Yes, graphic is beyond art. Graphic design is beyond art, right? So an example of art is, let's say for instance, a frame. Like you look here now, you see some frames here. These things, they are a form of art. right? They are here for decoration, to beautify the environment, to do this thing. These things are not actually bringing any tangible results at that, right? They are not really bringing any tangible results at that, but they are there. They are serving a purpose, which is to beautify the environment, or to keep us tap on memories, right? And that is their own purpose. That is art. Another example is, if you are paying attention to the trends, you would have seen this guy called Bodatayoni Akuya, right, that drew the Lagos state government, right. He just made a caricature of him like this, and he started carrying it up and down. That is art. Yeah, you might say it is imperfect, it's not properly drilled or whatever. That it has fulfilled the purpose of art. Art is just for fun, right? So everyone was happy about it. Art is just for fun. It's not for anything, and that's just it. But when you say you are creating design, if you are a graphic designer and not a graphic artist, there has to be a goal and objective. It's something specific that you want to achieve with that design, right? And that is what being a graphic designer is all about, right? That is what being a graphic designer is all about. And what else do I need to touch on? What else do I need to touch on before I move forward? Yeah, I think that is it, right? I think that is it, because um I said, when you creating a design for social media, it's different for creating a design for print. So when you then understand what you want to create design for, you will then know which software you need to use to create that particular design, right? That is also that is also one of the things that you need to understand in order to consider yourself a graphic designer, right? So we are almost running out of time here, and we are going to have to, close the class very soon. So before we do that, do you guys have any questions to ask, so that I can quickly touch on it before our time runs out?
Okay, so I think the teacher was really apt for me because I really had an experience today. Someone was asking me if there was any skill I had, so I was saying yes, that beginning to, when I say, I started graphic design during the lockdown, so I'm actually exploring and getting to get hold of things really. So I finished school this year, and then the person was like, "Okay, let me see your designs." I'm like, "Okay, let me show you." It was like, "Okay, what's the software you use?" And I said Canva. We're like, "Wow, no, no, no." So you're just doing copy and paste. I was like, "Sorry, I design, like I do it myself. I don't do copy and paste." But the person was like, "No, if someone asks you what software you use, don't say Canva, say CorelDRAW." So like, excuse me. So what's that supposed to mean? So it really pissed me off, and I'm like, okay. So if Canva should do this for me, why can't I use Canva? Or why should
Exactly.
I use maybe Adobe Illustrator or InDesign or maybe Photoshop to
Yeah.
show off that I did it well, while I actually used Canva, and Canva was able
Yeah.
to do what I wanted it to do. So it was really sad for me, but it was really like what you talked about was really apt for me today, because this is what happened today, like today.
Yeah, because the
And
thing is,
the
okay,
question I
okay, I'm
wanted to
hearing
ask, or what was coming to my mind when you were talking about logo, and so most times some of us are starting out newly,
you. Yeah.
the client will just come and say, "Okay, I need a logo," so we just go ahead, and most times we you hear deliver, the customer, you should give the customer what the customer wants. So we just go ahead and just do logo and just deliver.
Okay, okay, okay,
So
okay.
what questions do you think we can actually ask in order to be able to get that logo?
All right, praise. That was, I really love the angle you took those questions from, right?
Okay, I think
Gideon, just give me a little bit. Let me just answer praise
the
first.
question, let me just,
No, I cannot put all these things in my head though. Let me let me answer praise first. Right. So first of all,
No, I mean her own question. I want to chip in something to her own question.
Okay, what's it?
Okay, praise. I really appreciate you for what you said. But for me, like if people contact me and they say they need logo, the first question I used to ask them is fashion or I deal with so things. So you from there you already know logo, especially for fashion or for tailoring or for any business at all. You understand? They have specific logo for different kind of businesses. Okay, the other guy was doing craft, like he draws people. So you need a logo that is portraying craft. Like you need a symbol that is portraying craft in his logo. You get? So that is how me I do my own. I ask the person, what kind of business do you have a business color? Some people say they have color of gold and royal blue. They have a business color already. So you can either give them advice or choose a color for them if they don't have. Sure, you understand. So
Gideon,
from there,
thank you very much for your contribution. Right? Let me quickly
okay,
chip in something. First of all,
okay.
Praise, are you still there? Hello, Praise.
Yes, I am. I
All
am.
right, yeah. So,
Yes, I'm here.
first of all, when someone approaches you for design, you don't really have to. The criteria is not the software you use. It's not about Canva or something. You don't have to tell anybody the software you use to create designs, right? And that is the thing, right? If you display your expertise, people will not care about the software you use. I mean, if I don't come out here to mention to you guys that I use Canva at times to create designs, you guys wouldn't have thought of it. But I use Canva to create designs. Even though I use Photoshop and CorelDRAW, but some designs I use Canva. And I was not creating those designs because anything, because Canva was the software I needed to achieve the particular results I want to achieve, right? I use Canva to create designs. I mean, Canva also has functionalities that Photoshop does not have. Canva can create motion graphics. Photoshop cannot create motion graphics. CorelDRAW cannot create motion graphics, right? So next time when you are being approached for a project or whatever, it's not about the software. Don't try not to make your conversation with them, try not to make it about the software. When a client comes to you, right, try to make sure that you are communicating to them at a level where they see you beyond the software, because that is what people will say. That is just it out there. People discriminate designers who are using Canva, and that is because of the fact that majority of people who are using Canva, they are beginners, so it is bound to happen, right? It should not surprise you. Majority of people who are using Canva, they are beginners. So when you go out there and start telling people I'm a graphic designer, I create designs with Canva, they will look at you as an amateur, as a beginner, right? That is it. But if you are out there, if you change the conversation, that is no, you need to know how to change the conversation, how to present yourself as not a Canva designer, but as a graphic designer, right? As not, that's why I say it is a software operator. People who say, I create designs with Photoshop, I create designs with CorelDRAW, they are just software operators. They are not graphic designers, right? Because like I said, I personally I prefer to work with designers who knows how to use Photoshop. But if I give you a project, if you can deliver that project with Canva, I don't have a problem with that. If you can give me what I want, right? If you can give me what I need, if you can achieve the result that design is to achieve with Canva, go ahead and do it. But not a lot of people would think in this manner. So that is why you need to not put yourself at a disadvantage, right? You need to know how to take the conversation away from software. That is number one. The second question you asked was about a client who approached you for a logo design, and they are like, oh, and you felt like the clients know what they want, or what's it called? The saying that they say, the give the clients what they want, right? Praise. The customer is always right. Exactly, that's the right word. Praise. Is that it? Hello, praise. Are you still there?
Yes, yes,
Exactly,
yes, yes,
exactly.
I'm here.
Yeah, the customer is always right. That phrase is not, it does not work in the creative space, right? In the creative space, the customer is not always right. Please, guys, you guys go and note that. Look at it. I gave an example of a client that left a designer because they charged her 5,000 naira for a logo design. And they came to me expecting that I would charge less. So, but I ended up taking 50,000 naira from them. Was that customer right? No, now, no, that customer was not right. So you have to understand that, we creatives, the business of creative is a business that caters for other businesses. So you cannot run your own business the way those businesses operate their business, because it will collide, right? It will not work, right? There has to be a different concept, right? So if a client comes to you, I mean, countless times have I seen people telling me, yeah, make the logo bigger, make the I want to use this particular color, I want to use this particular thing and everything, right? It is very simple. We have to define all of these things from the beginning. Why do you want why do you want the logo to be bigger, right? If they can explain to you why they want the logo to be bigger, which most of the time they don't have any other explanation, because other than the fact that, yeah, that is the brand, you want people to see it and everything, right? But the truth is, the logo is not what will bring the results, right? If the logo is bigger, that is not what will bring the results, right? It is the way you communicate the design, right? And even the way the design is being used, right? So the client is not always right. As a matter of fact, most of our best designs, I personally, most of the designs that I've created that I am proud of, right? I created those designs by pushing back on the client's request, right? Like when the client say, I want it this way, I'll be like, no, you see, we can't do it this way. This is how we are going to have to do it if we want to achieve a better result, right? So once you have been able to get your client to buy into that idea, to understand that, hey, you know what you are saying, you know what you are doing, no, the rest will be a free ride, right? It's going to be a smooth ride. But the truth is, the client is not always right. That's just the bottom line. The client is not always right, because what you are creating for the client is not actually for the clients. It is for the client's clients, right? The client's customers, right? So if the client has a business and they want to create a flyer, is it the client that will interact with his own flyer? It is their target audience. So what you should care about is how to help them create that design in a way that it will resonate with their target audience, not with them, right? So that is why they are not always right, because they will want to bring their own emotional this thing, because the truth is, everyone is an artist, everyone is a creative person. Everybody will have an idea, oh, all this fancy idea, it will be in their head. Sometimes it makes sense, but sometimes it's not functional. It will not achieve the result that they need to achieve, right? And your ability to close better clients lies in your track record of creating designs that convert. So if you find yourself creating designs that does not solve problem for a very long time, it will be hard for you to close big deals. But if you have been able to create few designs, even few designs that solve real problem, those clients will refer people to you. They will refer people to you. When you show your process, right, other people who sees it, they will come for you, right? Some of you guys have my contact list on WhatsApp. You will realize that I don't really post too much about what I do, about my job. I don't really post that, hey, I designed this design. We just designed this and everything, right? I don't really do that. But what do I do most of the times is I put out information out there. I put out information about what I do, right? About the process, about the things, how we achieve this and how we achieve this. And if I am ever going to post about what I do, right, it's going to be like what's it called? Should I say like an education? It's going to be like me telling them that, hey, look at instead of doing this, right? This is not. There was a time that people were using what's it called, mock-ups as logo. I mean, it still happens though. When they were using mock-ups as logo, I was so very angry with the amount of abuse that thing was getting, using mock-up and selling things to people as logo. What do I do is that I explained the purpose of a mock-up and break it down why the mock-up is not the logo, and let people understand what the logo is. After then, I presented a recent project I just completed, a recent brand identity design project that I just completed. Guess what? I received 10 enquiries that day. 10 people DM'd me that day. Why? Because I did not just showed my work. I what's it called? I no, I displayed expertise. I make people know that yes, I know what I'm doing, right? And I did not go there and tell them, oh, I use Photoshop or I use CorelDRAW or I use Canva. No, because that's not the criteria. That's not the criteria. Yeah, that's just it. Praise. I hope I answered your question well.
Yes, you did, like very well. But as you were speaking, I think it's prompting more questions. And I don't know if it's still okay to ask
Okay, hold
because
on,
of
hold on,
time.
hold on. Let others ask first. If we still have enough time, you would ask. Gideon, do you have any question?
No, no question.
Okay, anybody else? Precious. Raphael, Adeyemi.
Yeah, good evening. I actually came late, so I don't know when and how the class started.
Yeah,
But
okay. Okay, I can hear
but
you. I'm listening.
but the little I had, um, some of the challenges I used to face is that is in the aspect of pricing.
Okay.
That's that's where I used to have challenge with them because I believe I do upgrade my skill frequently, and as well the gadgets I use. So and once I upgrade my gadgets, my skill as well, because it costs me money to upgrade my skill. So I feel
Of
like
course.
for that reason I need to scale up in my pricing. But I'll constantly have issue with them. Like they'll be like, it's too cost kind of. Okay, I have someone who just DM'd me not quite long ago.
Yeah.
She was inquiring about how much I charge for flyer and for logos. So when I told her the price, she was like, uh, your price is not for me, Abi, something like that. Sha. I was yeah. Anyways, I can't
Yeah.
beat it down below that standard. That's just the truth. So that's just some of the challenges I'm facing.
Okay. The issue of pricing. Well, because this is design chart, right? I'm going to answer your question because because it is called design chart, so we can talk about anything design. Because what we actually dedicated today for was who is a graphic designer. Try to help us understand who is a graphic designer. But because you have asked this question now, I'm just going to, because also it's going to help other people here. So let's just have a chat around it. So pricing is something that is very, very vital and important for every designer to know. And I know I'm still going to do another episode on this topic that will teach it extensively, right? But one thing I can say is that um, every time you want to raise your price, right? Anything you want to do in life, if you want to move to the next stage, is always harder, right? It will always get harder. I mean, things will happen that will make you not want to do it, right? Which is you are going to lose a lot of clients. Guys, if I start telling you how I move from charging 5k for logo to 8k to 10k to to the level where I am today, right? Every single time I raise my price, I lose some clients, right? it's it is for you to know yourself, right? The thing about pricing also lies in your confidence, your self-esteem, knowing yourself, being self-aware, right? Knowing your worth as a designer. Like you said, you have upgraded your skills, you have bought new equipment. All those things cost money, and you have to service them. What's it called? Photoshop normally costs money monthly in dollars, right? So if you calculate the amount of money that you're going to be paying monthly on Photoshop, or if you are using Canva Pro, right, you are going to be paying money monthly. And the way dollar keeps increasing, if you are charging the same amount that you are still charging last year, this year, you are running business as loss. You are not running business, you are not making a profit, right? But aside from that, anytime you want to raise your price, you are going to lose clients, right? That is the sacrifice for you to get to the next stage. What will happen is that it will help you filter those clients, those cheap clients that will keep you down, and help you keep those who appreciate you, who appreciate the value you have. That will also help you attract those who also appreciate the value you have, and they will pay for it, right? They will pay for it, right? And if you display the expertise, it's just about you knowing how to communicate your words, knowing how you can make people see the value that you are bringing to the table. No, I will still use this example. I don't know if you have joined us when I cited the example of how someone, what's it called, a client left a designer because the designer was charging them 5k for logo design, and that same client came to me and I charged them for 50,000 naira. This was quite some time ago, and it was basically because I know my worth, I know what I can offer to you, and I know the value that it brings to you as a business. I know that 50,000 naira is just a pinch out of what you will make after I do my job finish, right? After I complete uh, my job, right? Once I have completed my duty, once I do what I'm supposed to do for you, I know you are going to make more money, right? So I will just go ahead and charge you, and if you cannot afford it, well, those who will afford it will come and pay for it. Now another thing is this, is that we feel like before the big client comes, ah, let us manage the small client, or all these small things that they are still giving us, let us manage it too. And I understand, because this is Nigeria, and we all just want to survive. That's just it, right? Everybody just want to survive, and the truth is that it is killing us, because it is keeping us away from actually reaching the level that we're supposed to reach. The more you keep working for cheap clients, you will keep getting cheap clients, right? People will refer people like them. They will never refer people that are, many times you will see people say, I will bring people that will pay more than I'm paying, or if you do this for me, next time I will pay you more money. Most of the times those things don't happen, right? Most of the times they don't refer people that pay higher than they do. They refer people like themselves. And similarly, when you are working for high paying clients, they will also refer people like themselves. They will not refer their colleagues or their peers to a designer that is charging cheap, right? So if you can, as long as you can visualize the stage you want to be, as long as you can visualize what you want to go and what you want to achieve, right? As long as you know what you want to achieve, right, then you can close your eyes that whoever wants to leave, let them leave, right? Because the truth is this: if you calculate the time that you spend to work for all these clients, all these cheap clients, compared to actually working on yourself, you realize that, you know, it will pay you more to work on yourself, right? So if the reason they are not paying you well is because they feel like you are not good enough, don't worry. I will work on myself. I will go and learn new skills because I need time. But if I keep working for cheap clients, I will not have enough time to learn new skills that would allow me to attract higher paying clients. So I will let them go. And the truth is, the moment you keep letting them go and you keep working on yourself, you keep putting yourself out there and displaying your expertise, you will start attracting the kind of people that needs to be working with you. I mean, in the first place, I believe we all know that you are not supposed to be working with everybody. You have to know who your target audience are, because that is what we also do, right? We help our clients identify who their target audience are. So you also need to understand who your clients are. There are some clients, man, I just, there are some clients who don't understand how you can charge 5K for logo. I'm like, how can you charge 5K for logo? That's too much money. Guys, it will amaze you to know that what actually prompted me, what further fueled my curiosity to go deep into the business of design was an experience I had, right? One of those experiences is back then I was also creating this. At that point I was not even charging 5K for logo. This story that I'm about to tell you, I was not even charging up to 5K for a logo. 5K for, if I see someone pay me 5K for a logo back then, damn, I will dance, right? I will dance, right? Because I never charged more than 3,000 naira for any design project then. But this person, this friend of mine, just sent me a particular link that, yeah, this company, this company is actually a big company in Nigeria. I would not want to mention their name, right? And they said they were looking for designers. They want to change their logo and everything, and they said that we should send our portfolio. At this time, I did not really have a portfolio. So what did I do? What I did then was I quickly just put together some designs, some logo. I just put things together and I forwarded it to them. And then about, I think about a day or two, someone contacted me and then they asked for how much do I charge. In my mind, right, I felt like saying 5K, was a lot of money. So I said 5K. So in my mind I was like, no, God, let them just accept it like that. They should not even price it, because I was even expecting that they would price it. And they said, I know, the moment I said 5K, the guy was like, okay, they will get back to me. Right? After a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nobody got back to me. Then I had to go and meet this friend of mine that gave me the what's it called, the opportunity, the link. And he was like, yeah, he said they said I was so cheap that they do not trust me, right? They said because I was charging 5K, they do not trust me to deliver well. They do not trust me because it was I was traumatized, guys. I can't lie to you. I mean, sometimes I would just be walking on the street and I would just be thinking, I charge 5K. They said I'm too cheap. You don't understand. That was when I started, because I was already frustrated. that graphic design is not making a lot of money and everything. So I started making every research I needed to make. I started doing everything. Before I started coming across information about the business of design, I came across different, avenues, different platforms where I could learn, different courses where I had to pay to learn, what, being the business of design, right? Working as a businessman, not just as a designer, right? Working as a creative entrepreneur, right? And that is it. Which is the same way we have clients who never expect who never expected to spend more than 5K for a logo design. We also have clients who never expect you as a designer to charge them less than 100K. If you charge them less than 100K, you are a risk to them. So you want to attract those kind of clients. So the truth is, clients are everywhere, right? You have to be the one to identify who you want to attract and position yourself in a way that they will be able to find you. Just put yourself there, right? This guy gave a particular illustration some time ago. He said, just imagine yourself like, I don't really like to to use this example, right? He said, imagine yourself a designer as a prostitute, right? There are prostitutes who don't. By the way, I don't do prostitutes. I don't know much about it. I just heard this example somewhere, and I feel like I should use it too. There are prostitutes who don't use what's it called? Who don't charge more than 500 naira, who don't charge more than 1,000 naira, and there are prostitutes who don't charge less than 100K or millions, right? So those prostitutes who don't charge less than 100K, you will not find them where those prostitutes who don't charge more than 500 naira are. Why? Because they know where the big guys are. They know where the babalayes, they know where they are, right? So that is where they go and position themselves. You see them, that's where they will be. And the other guys too, the other little 500 naira people, you see them in the abete, right? That's where they will be. So it is for you to know who you are and who you want to attract and go and position yourself there. Because at the end of the day, also we also complain about clients. To me, I don't think it's actually really about, I don't really think it's the client's problem, because the client is just a human being and they just want the best deal. That's just it. So for some people, the cheapest price is the best deal, but for some people, the best outcome is the best deal. So it is left to you to decide who you want to work with. Like you already said, you want to charge more than you are charging currently. It is a good decision for you to make. What you have to do is to keep doing what you are doing, keep improving yourself, and keep putting your word out there. Keep putting your word out there. Keep displaying your expertise. Keep positioning yourself for the kind of clients you want to attract, right? Those who don't want to pay you what you are worth, let them go. Let them go. Those who appreciate your value, they will stay with you and they will attract more people like themselves to you. Yeah, that's just it. What's it called? Blair in his book, Pitch, what's it called? Pitch Without Manifesto, right? Pitch Without Manifesto, I think so. Blair, you can Google it. Pitch Without Manifesto. He said, as a designer, when you are just starting out, right? You need a lot of work. You need a lot of clients. You need a lot of work, right? Just do anything. Just do everything. He said, at that point, that is stage 1 of success. He said the stage 2 of success is the opposite of stage 1, which is you are going to say no to a lot of clients. So in the stage 1, you are going to say yes to a lot of clients, because why? You want to gather experience, you want to gather expertise, you want to explore, you want to do so many things, right? So that is the stage 1. But the stage 2, when you have gathered enough experience, you this time around you want to start working on purpose, right? It's not just based on passion, right? Because passion can only take you, to an extent. Definitely, passion is what will actually carry you through the whole journey. But at some point, you need something to fuel your passion, right? So that stage two, right? It is the opposite of stage one. So you're going to say no to a lot of clients so that you can have quality people to work with. You can also have quality projects, quality portfolio to put out there, because good things are not for everybody. So when you see something that a lot of people are doing, that thing is not it's not a very good thing. But something that just few people can access it, that is the real thing, right? That is the real thing, and that's just it. You want to make yourself that valuable thing that only people who understand the value that you have, who understand your worth, are the ones who get to work with you. I hope that answer helped you, Raphael.
Yeah, it really do. Thanks.
All right, all right. Do we have any other questions? Precious, I haven't. Okay, you told me you don't have questions. Praise. Let's see. Damn, we have spent quite some time here. Okay, are you still there? Do you still have questions to ask, Praise, so that we can close? We can close for tonight.
Yes, please. Sorry, I'm asking too much questions. I just want to learn.
All right.
I wanted to. You made mention of a logo and then the mock-up logo. So it sounded as if there was really a difference, or there was something particular about these two things. So can you please throw more light to them?
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, a mock-up. A lot of people, they confuse these things, and they sell mock-up to their clients as a logo, right? They sell mock-ups to their clients as a logo, to the point whereby majority, and like I just said, those things that does not make sense, that is what you will see a lot of people doing. Those things that does not make sense. So because a lot of amateurs out there, they are using mock-up, selling mock-up to clients. So even some clients, they will come to you and say, I want this kind of logo, and what they are talking about is a mock-up. But because those who are doing it for them has been calling it logo for them. Now, what is the difference between a logo and a mock-up? A logo, we all know, is a brand mark, right? Is a brand mark that works alongside other elements to serve as an identity for a particular brand. Mock-up, on the other hand, is for presentation, right? You see those mock-up, you see, I mean, they even went to the extent of calling it 3D mock-up. 3D logo. They will say, 3D logo. They say, no, it's not 3D logo, it's a mock-up, right? But it's just in a 3D form. It is like presenting your work in a real life perspective, right? So when as a designer you are selling mock-up to your clients, you are a scam, right? You are a scam, because the mock-up is not for the client. It is to enhance the end result, right? It is to help the client see the beauty of your work, right? So it is for you as a designer. That is what mock-ups are for. No, what they call, I even see some designers charging people for mock-ups. Wow. Mock-ups is for you to present your work, right? To present your work in a professional way, for people to see, okay, this is what the logo is going to look like if you do it, if you are using it in a real life perspective, right? Mock-ups is for presentation, right? It's not the logo. But some people, I don't know how these things spread. I don't just understand how these things spread. Everybody just adopted it as a logo. Bam. You know, and that further product I was saying the other time to Raphael, that the things that are not very good are the ones that you find everyone, but the good ones you only see few people doing it. And that's just it. Mock-up basically is for presentation. It's just to show things in a real life perspective, and that's just it. That's what mock-up is all about. And mock-ups are not for the clients. Mock-up is not for the clients. The mock-up that all these mock-ups that we are showing up, and that is not for the clients. The clients, they don't need it. They cannot print mock-up on a t-shirt. They cannot print mock-up, although I actually see people printing these things. Right, I have seen people use these mock-ups, printing it on a flyer, printing it on banner, printing it on t-shirts, but that's not what it's meant for. Right, what is the functional, what is the purpose, what is the function of a logo in the first place? A logo is supposed to help you identify, right? It's supposed to help the target audience identify a brand at a glance, right? At a glance. Think of Apple's logo, right? Think of Apple's logo, right? Apple, if you look at it, they are into, what's it called, technology and everything. But what does Apple have to do with their company, right? It's because a logo is a tool for identification and not for communication. That is why you also, but then you will see people, aside from the 3D mock-up that they are doing, they will still write phone number, they will write address, they will write this thing as if it's business card, right? Oh wrong, right? Oh wrong, right? And that's just it. A mock-up is just for, presentation. It is for not any other thing other than that. Is an abuse. And I don't blame those who are doing it, because they don't know. And they said, when you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. That's just it. And that is why I said, as a graphic designer, what makes you a graphic designer has a lot of things embedded in it. And one of it is understanding the basic principles of design. And what's it called? The logo basically is supposed to have three things. It's supposed to be simple, distinctive, and appropriate. That's just it. It's supposed to be simple, distinctive, and appropriate. And you cannot send me a mock-up and tell me it is simple, distinctive, and appropriate. How? Right? And that's just it. So you guys should also spread this news out there, so that this thing can also trend, and we can start killing these viruses little by little. That a mock-up is not a logo. A mock-up is just for presentation of a logo, or any design project at all. We have mock-ups for flyers. We have mock-ups for, for websites. We have mock-ups for, I can do a mock-up now and write my name on this thing now, right? Let's say for instance now I design my name, that fresh, right? And I now put it in a mock-up of a cap. I now send it to, to you. Let's say praise now. You come and contact me as that fresh. That, hey, that fresh. I need you to help me design my name, right? So I now design your name. I now use a mock-up, of this kind of art, and I put your name there, and I'll send it to you that, praise, so Teko, this is the design that I've made for you, right? So I now give you the mock-up. Is it the mock-up you go and print on your own cap? No, now it is that design that you need. So it is the design you need. Me using that design, putting it on a mock-up of a art, is just to show you what is going to look like after you finish printing it, right? That is the purpose of a mock-up, and that's it. Shake. Did you get that? Praise.
Yes. Thank you very much. I
All
really
right,
appreciate
all right,
it.
guys. This has actually really taken longer than I planned for it to, to do, right? But definitely, um at the end of the day, it is interesting, and I'm glad to have you guys here. I really, really appreciate you guys showing up for this. And till we meet again, bye for now. Oh, but before we leave, right? I mean, I don't know. I think I know those of you. Those of you here. I don't know where are the new guys. I think I know everybody here. I don't know where the new guys are. I think Precious is new. So my name is Damilola, but you can call me that Fresh. Precious, you are a new person, right? I'm just meeting you for the first time.
Yes, I'm a new person and I just started this graphic stuff not quite long. I just started learning actually.
Oh,
Although I
okay.
have passion for it, but I never had the chance to learn. But at least I'm learning. That is why I don't have much to say about it because I don't really know it. So at least I've learned little things from it.
All right.
There are some words you are even using that I've not even come across it
Yeah.
before in
Yeah, I know,
graphic
right?
system.
Yeah, those
Yeah, so
they are called visual vocabularies of design. Yeah, I get it.
oh
I get it. So, like you just said now, you said you are just starting out, and
yeah,
what's it called? I did not really plan to announce my upcoming this thing here, but because you said it might just be helpful to you that what's it called? My design training, Praise is here. Praise is part of the people that are going to be taking the class. It's, we are starting by October 30th, right? It's a graphic design
okay,
course, and it's going to last for 6 weeks, right? Going to teach you how to create problem-solving designs, how to create graphic design, motion graphics design using your smartphone or laptop. There is no discrimination here, right? You don't have limitations, right? If you are using your smartphone or laptop, I will teach you how you can create amazing design with all of that. So if that's something you will need, just send me a DM, right? I believe you are in that what's it, design chat group, right? You can,
yes,
yeah, you can chat me up privately,
okay,
and I'll give you all the necessary details. Yeah.
no problem.
So,
Also,
all right, guys. My name remains Damilola, but you can call me that Fresh. And bye for now. It has been a lovely, lovely ride with you guys. I really appreciate it. Even though the network wanted to focus up, but then God did great for it. All right, guys. Bye. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.